All right, we're live.
Okay.
Hey guys.
Well, I have one that I've been hanging on to. This particular story I've not even done in a program yet because the last program I did, usually after the program's over, we have a Q&A and people come up and share stories. This story was shared after the last program, so I had it and I pulled it out because I've never told this one before. So this is going to be interesting. I'm going to share the story, and then I want you guys to chime in and tell me what you think. And then, believe it or not, I was able to actually find out a little bit more on Chat GTB or whatever that's called.
Cool.
So this is a phenomenon, and I didn't realize that. So it's going to take me just a minute to get through it, but listen and tell me what you think.
Okay.
So this takes place in the Firelands. It takes place in an area that we're very familiar with, where we grew up. And it actually takes place on a road that, Don, you and I have been down numerous times. So here's the story. This happened about 5 years ago.
Oh, this is relatively recent then.
Yes, relatively recent. Yes. It was shared to me 2 years ago, but it had happened about 5 years ago. Knowing the Firelands is very, has a lot of farmland. And so there are endless country roads with endless farmlands, and there are endless woods. And this just so happens to take place on a country road where there was a wheat field on the one side. This happened mid-July, about 8:45, 9 o'clock at night, she believes. And there was a heavy wooded area on the other side. And so this driver is driving home. She's by herself. She has traveled this road many, many times. And as she's driving, we all know there are deer everywhere in the fields around here. So we are just trained to constantly watch our peripheral for deers. So she's driving and she sees to her, would be her right-hand side, is a wheat field, and she sees movement in the wheat field. She's assuming it's deer. So she slows way down. She's waiting for deer to start coming out and crossing the road into the woods. As she's watching, she notices that she's watching the wheat, which she said was probably about 2.5 to 3 feet tall at this point. She said she's watching it get matted down. And it's coming closer and closer and closer, but it's matting down, but she can't see deer. So she's watching thinking, what is this? I can see that the wheat is matting down, but I can't see any animals or humans or see what's doing it. As she's watching, she sees that there's glowing light. So she's watching the field as it's matted down, coming closer and closer to the road, but it's lit. As these things start exiting the field onto the road, crossing the road, going into what she believes are going to go into the woods, she called them glowing tumbleweeds. Now, she said she described these glowing tumbleweeds as about the size of a pool beach ball. She said larger than a volleyball, a beach ball size that you'd play with in the pool. She said there were probably 15 to 20 of them. She said she's not sure. They weren't in a straight line. They were all just kind of tumbling across the road as she sat there. Now, she said at some point she had come to a complete stop. She doesn't even realize when she did that, but she said she's watching these tumbleweeds. She called them tumbleweeds because she said they were not smooth orbs. They look like balls of grass, wheat, whatever, but they were glowing. And she said they were.
Note here is we don't have tumbleweeds here.
No, we do not. No.
We don't have whatever,
No, there are no.
whatever plant species that is. We don't have tumbleweeds.
No, we don't have tumbleweeds. We're in Ohio on Lake Erie, and we're not known for our tumbleweeds, let alone glowing tumbleweeds. But this is what she described them as. She said that's the best thing that she can say. They weren't smooth, they weren't orbs, but they were round. And she said they looked like they had the consistency of grass and wheat and twigs. as they were crossing the road. She said there was no rhyme, no reason to them crossing. They just kind of crossed in a group. She said what she remembers is her car got very, very hot. She said it's in July. She had the AC cranking, and she said she can remember the heat in her car to where it affected something that affected the AC or the interior of the car, but she remembers the car getting very, very hot. As they're crossing, she says they're going into, in front of her car to the left, into a heavy wooded area. Now, I will tell you, this wooded area backs up into an area that we plan on going maybe next month. It is a state area, so it just happens to be in that general region. So she's watching them as they cross these balls of light, as they hit the other side and they hit the wood line. She said she watched them transform into a human form. She said there was no features, there were no clothing. It was just like they shape shifted into what she said was a bipedal form, lost their light, became dark, and transformed into a dark figure, and then they just all walked into the woods. She said she can say that they were bipedal. She said that they looked human and that they walked into the woods.
Oh, are you thinking that it's something extraterrestrial or like a ghost or a skinwalker is what I wrote? Skinwalker? What did
I
she
wanna
think
know
it
what-
was? What does she think it was?
I want to know what you guys think it was.
I think
Okay,
aliens.
so first of all, before I answer, can you text us the road, or is that secret from us right now?
No, it's not secret from you right now.
Yeah.
I can bleep it. I'm gonna edit this. Well, you can just say it. I'll bleep it.
Where is it? Okay, so that's where I was going to ask, did we have an aunt and uncle who used to live on this road 25 years
Yes.
ago? Okay.
Now, the thing of it is I don't know where it happened on, and you'll have to bleep that part, Cameron, because we don't want the road said.
Yeah.
But she said there is, if you're heading north, she said there is a field on the right, and there's the wood, which would be the park, the state park that we know activity has happened. She said she believes the area that she was in was not part of the park, but she's not sure. She thinks
Okay.
it's privately owned woods through there, but she's not sure for sure.
So it would have to be right at the bottom of the hill as you're coming down from Fraley, right? You go past Young's. Is it Young's?
Yeah. That's what I told Mom. Exactly what I told
Yeah.
Mom.
Yeah. So
That's where I
you're
think.
going to kind of twisty, and then you get down there, and there's that field there.
Yep.
And so, I'm my own personal beliefs on all of this stuff, right? Like on all the paranormal. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to deny that stuff happens. I know that I don't know enough to really understand what's going on yet. Now, I will tell you, if it's in that area, if it's anywhere, and you don't have to bleep this, Cam, if it's anywhere south of the train tracks, right? Because north of the train tracks, there's other fields and things up there. We have family friend Gidget grew up, up that, and I hunted up on that north side. I deer hunted north of those train tracks years ago. But it's almost got to be on the south, and I will tell you, that area is not far from where we're going to go. It's a at most a 20-minute walk from, if that's where we think it is, if we're right where it is,
Right.
to that area that I'm going to take you to.
Yep.
Is it near that cider mill? Are you talking like where the
Oh, you're talking about the winery?
No, that place, that like old cider mill.
You talk about Hast's old cider mill.
Oh, you're talking about Hastel cider mill that's kind of fallen down?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a
No.
Mason. Yeah, it's
No, we're
it's
closer to where Kathy used to live with Jason. We're out in that area.
Yeah.
Now, here's the interesting thing about this. I just happened to think I'm going to look up and see. I went to that
Chat GPT.
and I put in, what can you tell me about glowing tumbleweeds? Just to see what else was going to come. Interesting enough, there are stories and people that talk about glowing tumbleweeds. Now, most people believe that they lean towards what is called an elemental. Are you guys familiar with elementals?
No.
I mean, from back when I played Dungeons and Dragons
Right. Yeah.
40 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, elementals are just what people believe are four classical elements: earth, air, fire, and water.
Mhm.
And they are mixed with folklore. And they believe that these are possibly fire elementals. And so other people have seen them. They are believed to be in the elemental world of the paranormal. And yeah, people are familiar with these. Now they do go back to Native American
Sure.
folklore and stories. And we know that this area is rich with Native American history. She was adamant that this took 3 to 5 minutes. And when you think about 3 to 5 minutes experiencing something like that, that's a long time. It doesn't sound like it's a long time,
I know,
but if you're
it's a huge amount of
it's a
time.
it's a huge amount of time to be sitting in your car and experiencing something like this on a country road by yourself. 3 to 5 minutes is a really long time.
What time of day
That's
was it?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'll go there.
I think he asked what time it was. Is that what you asked, Ken?
Yeah. What
It
time
was
of day?
about 8:45 to 9 o'clock at night. She said it was dusk. It was not dark.
So could it have
It
been the
was dusk.
headlights? Could it have been the headlights sort of creating a haze on the tumbleweeds? Did she acknowledge that?
Well, you know what's funny about that is I thought when I first heard it, I thought, okay, is it some kind of gases being omitted from or what's the word, from the fields?
Yeah.
Is it is it the headlights? Is it I don't know, like I thought, even spider webs that are blowing in the fields or something,
I mean,
that are bouncing off her headlight. Now that would be plausible
But it wouldn't
if
explain. It wouldn't explain
if
turned into a human and walked.
that's exactly right.
Or how it was matting down the wheat. And
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, she said she saw the matting of the wheat before she saw the tumbleweeds and before she saw the light. She said she was watching the wheat get knocked down and pushed down.
so, all right. So I want to tell you, I don't know. There's lots of stuff in my head. So I want to tell you a story about, so I've hiked that area a lot, right? I've hiked that field because if I know the field she's talking about, there's actually trails through there, and I've hiked it multiple times through that field, and there are high tension power lines that go through there. Now, those same power lines run parallel with the 4-lane highway that's north of there, right? And then um, coming past the factory by the river one night,
Yep.
coming home, was coming home from work, and I had one of the boys in the car with me, and we saw I think there was a thunderstorm going on. I don't remember the circumstances, but I can tell you oh my God. Oh my God. So, okay. We were coming home from work. It was a late night, and it would have been about that time. And we had gotten off at Berlin Road. I'll just say we'd gotten off at Berlin Road, and we started heading up because I used to come home that way because I hate 250 going through that other way. Anyhow, we were chasing lights in the trees. And I don't think there was a thunderstorm. Now that I think about it, there wasn't a thunderstorm. What we saw were these balls of light that were in the general vicinity of the high tension lines. And I thought there must have been some sort of atmospheric condition that was going on that was allowing the moisture to interact with the high voltage and create balls of plasma and things like that. And so we were on the highway when we saw that, and those power lines are just to the south of the highway, like an eighth of a mile. So you can see them very clearly from the highway, those power lines. And I just got, now there are some trees scattered through there, but I just got glimpses of these balls of light, which up until 3.5 minutes ago, when I said, oh my God, I thought they had something to do with the power lines. We get off at Berlin Road and we start heading up towards Berlin Heights. And we're within 5 miles of where this person saw their thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing lights in the treetops. And so we drove all around those country roads. We didn't quite get as far over as where this lady was. We were a little closer to, we were on this side of the creek. We were on the west side of the creek.
Okay.
All right. And we were headed up Berlin Road, but we were zigzagging all over the place. There were lights in the trees that were moving within the treetops.
Oh, wow.
That we chased all the way up Berlin Road through Shinrock, as we went under the train tracks road. And that wasn't, I ended up going into Berlin Heights, chasing these lights. And I don't live in Berlin Heights. So, it was a bit of a detour for me.
Right.
That way.
Now, when you say lights, were they pulsating? Were they balls? Were they the same size? What were you seeing?
Imagine so it was this time of year, so it was summer,
Okay.
trees fully leafed out, or it was late summer, but there were definitely leaves in the trees. They hadn't turned yet; it wasn't fall. Imagine they were mainly red, and they were lighting up the trees, and every now and then you could get a glimpse of a light, and it was beach ball sized.
That's what she said.
But it was moving, and we were probably going 40, maybe 50. And it wasn't just Berlin. We were zipping around, and anybody watching this video who's from the area knows, we went down Knight Road, we went down Darrow Road, we were on Chapin, we were on Deer Road, we were on Berlin Road.
How How
we were
many?
like referees, like we were all over the place trying to find it. And at one point, I was convinced that there were two sets because I swear, like I had a pretty good beat on the tree line. We're familiar with the area, right? I mean, it's clearly we're from the Firelands. We know the area. I know the roads.
Yeah.
So I knew lights up in the tree. And there's not lights up in the trees. There's nothing out there.
No, there's not.
We saw lights up in the tree, so I knew where we were. And I drove a half a mile, and suddenly there's lights over on the other side. Now I didn't see them simultaneously, so they either crossed from left to right, and I didn't see it, which is highly unlikely because my eyes were. I probably wasn't paying as much attention to the road as I should have been, but I was very clearly focused on the treetops and trying to find these things. So it went away from where I was watching it. It should have been on the east side of the creek at that point. And then it was over in the neighborhood of Chapin, which is why we ended up zigging and going down Chapin at that point. And we doubled back and we probably spent an hour. We could have been home. It should have been like a 10-minute drive to get to the house. But it wasn't. We spent an hour chasing these things around. That's the only time that's ever happened.
Smooth, or was the movement erratic? Or when you say sets, were you seeing like two, or what do you mean by sets of lights?
So I never got closer than, like, we first saw the lights. We were on the highway, and then we got off on Berlin, and I saw them again closer to the creek. They changed colors. They were blue white when I saw them from the highway by the factory.
What?
Yeah, they were like blue, like intense blue white. By the time we got on the Berlin Road, they were red and orange, and I don't want to say they were flashing, but they were slow pulsing, maybe. The other thing is at one point, God, I forgot about this until just tonight. This is the craziest thing. At one point, if you could imagine, so let's say you got a 40, 50 foot grove of maple trees, right? Fully mature maple trees. 2/3 the way up, if you had put a couple of cars, maybe shining their lights up into the trees, that's what it was, lighting up the tree canopy.
Wow.
So I didn't see the balls of light as much as I saw the illumination that they were giving off. They were lighting up probably a 100-foot diameter around where they were. Maybe not that much. I don't know. But I never got closer than probably a half a mile after we got off and we started finding. But it was all up and down. It was all up and down the creek, and yeah.
So I find this interesting that you said at one point they were blue.
Yeah.
She said that these lights were a whitish outer rim, but they were blue in the center. She said she watched, and she said when they were in the field, she could see it didn't light up the field. You could see the balls themselves lit, just like if you had beach balls in the field. She said it didn't light the field, it was just the balls illuminating. And as they came across the road, it was like the light was self-contained within the ball.
So when I first saw them, that's how they were. They weren't lighting up anything other than themselves.
That's what she said these were.
This reminds me of the Bigelow Ranch, the Ghost Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah.
When they sent a team out there this is what that team reported: blue balls, exactly what you're describing, like blue balls that would float. They said they were super ominous, seemed evil, but
Well,
yeah,
and
that's
another
exactly what
thing,
they said.
well, another thing that I find interesting is that she said the car got extremely hot. And she said it was almost like something, the energy, there was some kind of an energy field or something. She said that kind of like drained the AC in the car. She said the car got extremely warm. And she said everything felt like it was electrified.
Nobody
She
said
remembers,
nobody
I'm
said
sorry.
ball lightning yet. Has anybody thought ball lightning?
Well,
I
so that
I Ozzy Osbourne taught everything paranormal was always ball lightning, which I love that.
yeah,
Anything that happened, he'd go, "That's ball lightning. That's ball
yeah.
lightning." I would say that if we didn't have them crossing and shape shifting into a bipedal dark mass,
Hmm.
that changes. Well, that changes everything.
Yeah.
Well, what year did that happen to you, Uncle Don? Mom, you said it was 5 years ago. Your story, but what was your story with
Would have been, yeah, 2021.
Could have been in that time frame. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So the only reason I ask is because of drones. I consider drones as a possibility too, but
Well, these were low to the ground. This experience was low to the ground. She said they were tumbling across the road, low to the ground. She was not seeing them raised at all.
mhm.
So a drone would have been caught in the field. A drone couldn't
Yeah.
have mushed down. I mean, maybe there are drones large enough to knock down wheat.
Well, I just wanted to
And
know if it was physically even possible for that to have been a possibility, and for 5 years ago, yeah, at least it puts it in the realm of possibility. I don't think that's what it
anything's
is.
possible.
Yeah, I'm just curious to what the time frame was. But I,
And I mean, the word did come up, shapeshifter. I mean,
mhm.
she when she was telling me the story, she's waiting in line with like 6, 8 other people. She's telling me the story, and a gentleman behind her actually mentioned shapeshifter because I wrote it in my notes. That did not come from her, but somebody said to her, "I think you encountered a shapeshifter,"
So this is
which
another local person.
this what she the person, yes, that told me the story is a local person. She
Okay.
said she has driven this road hundreds of times. Yeah.
So the reason I even had that memory is because I know those power lines run all the way from where I first saw the lights through that field,
That's
and
wild.
I have hiked the power line cut. There's actually two sets of power lines. There's the north set and then the south set. The south set runs closer to the cliff, whereas the northern set is closer to the train tracks. And I've hiked both of them, and so yeah, that was I was thinking ball lightning or something plasma related due to the proximity um, to those power lines, and it's really not even a quarter of a mile from where we're assuming it happened to the power lines. It's like maybe
Right.
of a mile. So it
Especially because she refers to this high energy hair standing up on her arms on the back of her neck. I'm thinking, okay, this is something that's explainable. Maybe this is something that's has something to do with power lines. But then she talks about these in okay, so then is there any way that you could experience some kind of a high energy jolt and then have something affect your eyes to where you see a black blobs? I mean,
I mean, you could if you're exposed to high enough energy.
Yeah.
I the brain is electrical, right?
Yep.
I mean, it could
right,
absolutely. None of us here are neurobiologists, but I think we can. It's not that big of a leap to
No.
go. If you were exposed to some high energy, it's entirely possible that you would experience all sorts of stuff.
ChatGPT, it's literally what it said. I said, my original question was, can it cause anomalies? Can power lines cause electrical anomalies? Of course, it said, yeah, obviously. But then I went, then I asked it specifically visual anomalies, and it said yes, power lines can contribute to visual anomalies, but usually through physical or optical effects. And then it says something called a heat shimmer can happen, which is a high voltage line can warm the surrounding air. Corona discharges on very humid, foggy, rainy days, which would be a glowing light of some kind. Camera artifacts, but there's no camera involved here. And then atmospheric conditions, looking through air over long distances, can sometimes produce mirage-like distortions. So it's very possible that because it's such a high powered area that it's creating some sort of energy disruptions, which could in fact be paranormal, at least causing something paranormal at that. But
I will say that in my notes, she states that it was a clear night. There had been no rain, nothing that, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, affected her visual to be able to see these. It was clear. There was nothing obstructing her vision. She said she thinks the temperature that had cooled down that night, but it was still in the high 80s because she said she remembers her car being so warm and having her AC blasting. She said that as she said, as the figures shifted, as soon as they hit the other side of the road, as soon as they hit the other side, hit the wood line, she said the glow immediately dimmed. It immediately went to a dark form. And she said it was clear, absolutely clear. It was a human form, bipedal, tall, thin, and she said they were uniform in shape. So they weren't small, short, chubby, skinny. She said they were all uniform in shape. She said she believes there was 15 to 20 of them. And she said, here's the thing that I haven't shared with you, which I find really, really interesting. She said that the shapes, as they walked into the wood line, they were avoiding the trees.
Oh,
They were not walking through the woods. They were not, she said these shapes actually avoided the plants and the tree life in that. She said they were walking as if they couldn't walk through them, which I thought that was really interesting. It's not just a blob or a form that's just walking into an area where maybe there weren't woods there at one time, a residual, energy that walked that area for hundreds of years and there weren't trees there before. No, she said they were purposely avoiding plant life and trees as they walked out of her vision. Now I find that quite interesting.
that's it's a creepy place. It is a creepy place. So when we go visit that area, I had thought about coming in from the other side, sort of the main entrance. But
Yeah, I have a story that's at that entrance. Yeah.
There is the other way in is probably just as close to come in from that road. There's a parking space. There's a couple of parking spaces in there that we could go in. That is a creepy stretch of road. Like when you're driving down that at night,
Yeah.
it's genuinely creepy in there.
Yeah. And it's almost canopied at some part.
Yeah.
There's a part where it's got canopied over, and that part right there, beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful, but it's creepy. And she commented that she has driven that road 100 times in her lifetime, numerous times since this happened. And she said every time she goes through there, she said she gets a knot in her stomach. She can feel the electricity. She said she will never forget this situation. And she said at some point she doesn't remember stopping. She remembers slowing down because she thought it was deer.
Yeah.
And she said, but she does not remember coming to a complete stop. She said the next thing you know, she was creeping forward and moving forward. And she said all she kept doing was looking in the rearview mirror behind her. And she said there was no cars. There were no bicyclists. There were no people walking. There were no deer. There was no wildlife. There was nothing. She said she looked in a rearview mirror for as long as she possibly could and never saw anything come. No deer, no nothing.
well,
She is adamant that it was paranormal.
Isn't Bigfoot supposed to be able to shapeshift too?
Yeah,
I know
That's a theory.
stretch. I know that's a stretch, but
It's
that's
a
the
theory.
that's the woo side of it. They
Mhm.
call it.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, there's and there's I'm definitely not in the woo camp.
Mhm.
But there's a guy I follow on YouTube, Cabin in the Woods. He's actually doing some stuff with Survivor Man Les Stroud. He's done a couple of things with Les in the last month or two, I think. Anyhow, he's from Canada, and he's got Cam. I will send you a link.
Yeah.
To a video of his. The guy's a professional filmmaker.
Oh heck yeah.
And he's a great storyteller.
Yeah.
And but he's from Canada. He was, I believe, visiting somewhere on Vancouver Island. They were on vacation.
Mhm.
He went out for a walk. Now Vancouver Island's got grizzly bears, black bears, and cougars, and
Moose, yeah.
all kinds of stuff. So the fact that this dude was out in the dark by himself and that, like, this, he's got a set of cojones.
Mhm.
I think he's a power lifter, or he used to be. I don't know. I don't think he did it professionally. I think he just does it. But anyhow, he was out walking and he heard something in the trees. He caught on camera, and I'll send you this link, Cam, so if you could like put the little card on the
Yeah.
video to show it.
That'd be great.
He caught on camera a flash of light in the woods at the exact moment that he hears the sound. And you can hear the sound, and there is this sort of amorphous flash of light in the woods out in BFE, where he is, that coincides perfectly with the sound. So I know that I have been saying for years that the Bigfoot phenomena, I don't know that there's any. I think what we're doing is we're seeing lots of different things, and they're all happening in the woods, so they all get rubber stamped with the "this is a Bigfoot" thing. It's shorthand at this point for weird crap that happens in the woods. Let's call it Bigfoot, right? So I there, yeah. So there are orbs and things that the Bigfooters are saying correlate. I don't know if that's the case, but I have seen that one video footage of the light flashing. Have I? This actually brings up the Barb Shoop video. Are you familiar with the Barb Shoop video?
Mm-mm.
Okay, Barb Shoop. I'll send you this link too, Cam.
We have relatives that her name was Barb Shoot, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
shoot.
Not the same one.
No,
Okay.
not the same. She's out on the West Coast. She's a Bigfooter. She caught on video. She's had something happen. She took a group of her friends back to this location to show them where it happened. People interested in Bigfoot. She catches on film something cloaked in the forest, and there have been people who have gone through it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a guy by the name of Thinker Thunker. Thinker Thunker does video breakdowns. He did an excellent breakdown of the Barb Shoop video, but it's like Predator cloaked in the trees, and it's compelling.
I've hit it really hard and really fast right in the middle to break it there, to not break these smaller pieces that are supporting it at either end.
Yeah, that had to been,
yeah,
like a thrust and not a hang, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause
something hard and fast.
For any amount of time,
The heck was that? Did you see that?
It really is, especially with the Thinker Thunker review. He did a really good breakdown of that. So
there's that show Expedition Bigfoot that they caught what looks like, and it's clear. It looks like a Bigfoot form that then cloaks. And then it's gone, and it almost looks like there was Bigfoot and there was a shimmer, and then it was gone.
Yeah.
And it almost looks like it crossed over.
Well, so the
I
reason
mean-
I ask is because that's one of the things that we're going to this location to look for, right? Is Sasquatch, to see if there's any evidence of Sasquatch.
I have a story of a husband and wife that were bird watching that had an experience that they 100% she saw what she claims to be Bigfoot. Now, it's not. It's within how far do you think, Don? It was in the meadow there. You know,
I mean, it's maybe half a mile
Yeah.
from
Okay.
where this gal,
See, that's why I asked to see if it could be
as the
related
bird
to
flies, as the crow flies.
you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, the fact that that was so many people have settled the area and have been in that area and have abandoned that area.
Yeah.
There's, and I don't know what the, what the mechanism is, but there is some connection. There's some high strangeness is the term in the paranormal world, right? I believe they refer to it as high strangeness. So yeah, there's definitely some weird stuff that goes on. I had forgotten all about the lights until you said that. I mean, it was
That's
a big
crazy.
deal, especially since I had one of the boys in the car with me, and I think it was
This woman said she went home and she told her family what happened, and her husband got right in the car with her and they headed right back there. And she said there were no lights or anything, but her husband got out and there was flattened wheat. So he was able to see where he said it looked like somebody took a big ball and rolled it through the wheat in various patterns where you could see several things went through. So within 20 minutes to a half hour later, she did bring her husband back, who was still there with her to verify that he saw the flattened wheat. And he said, yeah, there was, and it looked like it was things had rolled through there. But there was nothing on the road, there was nothing in the woods, there was no lights, there was no, so I mean, look,
Okay.
I just want to say this real quick. Me coming at this from a psychic medium, I truly believe that the veil is thinning. And to me, that's something that matters to me, but it doesn't need to matter to you. You don't need to believe in the veil or anything, but I believe in the veil. I believe the veil is thinning, and I think we're getting glimpses of other dimensions that we didn't get before. So this doesn't surprise me at all that this occurred, but that's just my take on it.
That's really interesting that it happened roughly the same time frame too,
Mhm.
as us chasing the lights. That's a hoot. Okay.
Yeah.
So to finish this one up, so when we go out to this location, and see if you can feel anything in the area that I feel. I don't get, like you guys know me. I don't know what is going on with this high strangeness stuff, right? I know people are seeing stuff. I've seen stuff that I can't immediately put an answer on. But every now and then I do get, and we've talked about this, there's a couple of houses that I've been in where I get a weird feeling. And
One that I lived in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, interestingly, the old house that we grew up in, I never felt anything there. I don't know if you ever had anything weird happen at that house, at the old house, right? But I never.
Mostly in the woods and in the backyard.
Okay, yeah, but never anything in. I've never experienced anything in the house.
No, I didn't.
Outside, yeah,
Yeah.
There was that stretch there behind, well, between ours and Susan's.
The orchard.
That whole stretch. There was weird stuff that happened back in there too. So, but I am interested in I'd like to have another call at some point where we can talk about planning for when we go to this location.
That's for that. I think we're planning that for August.
Okay. My knee rehab is going well.
Good.
The last couple of weeks I've made some more progress, and so for the people on YouTube, I tore my had a significant ligament tear in my right knee back in February, and it's now July, and I'm still probably at 75%, but it's been a long recovery. So that's been hindering us getting out. And then your knee replacement.
I've got a knee replacement ahead of me in the fall.
Yeah. So anyhow, so
but we have a location coming up in July.
Yep.
And I'm excited. We're going on search of the Pukwudgie, and I'm excited about this because it's the same area. We're going to follow the same creek that we did the Hudson Tuttle and the cemetery YouTube, the video on. So we're following that same creek line. We're just going up a little ways and following that creek line, and we're heading up the street, and we're going to go in search of a Pukwudgies. And I love that we're just kind of building upon this area where the cemetery was, where Hudson Tuttle is buried, and where we came across some
I'm gonna try to catch
interesting
one.
stuff.
I'm gonna bring a trap and try to catch a Pukwudgie. I'm serious. I'm borrowing one from the campground. But
he's going to try to catch one.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I do want to talk about the Pukwudgies more on the second recording here.
Okay.
Because I had a couple of things that I didn't discuss with you guys after we were at the cemetery.
Oh boy.
We really should do a follow-up after we do an investigation, to talk about each one of our experiences, because I'm so wrapped up in what I'm doing. I'm not paying attention to what anybody else is doing. And, so it would be good to do a follow-up where we do a sit down like this and talk about, okay, what did you think? What did you say? Because we all had different experiences there.
Okay, cool. All right. Well,
I will send out the next one here in about 5 minutes. And so I'm looking forward to going to this spot. We're gonna have to do multiple visits to this location. I was going to say,
this is not a one video deal. I think we're going to have to do multiple visits in August, and I think we're going to have to do a couple videos to cover all of this, because there's so much.
Yeah, the Pukwudgies is probably a day trip, but
Pukwudgies probably one night.
Is that going to be an overnighter, or like how late are we going to do that? Part of me is thinking tent.
Yeah.
And
we will have the backyard along the creek to ourselves for as long as we want it. So we certainly can.
So the owner's okay with us camping out overnight?
Yes.
Then
all right, Pam, are you in? I know Cam, you're in. Cindy,
yes.
I don't know if you're going to want to be an overnighter or not, but
well, I got a cot and a tent, so
all right.
All right.
All right, I'll stop this one then. So we'll see you.